Numbers that changed politics, Petty's political arithmetic, and Graunt's bills of mortality. What is the most important thing for governing a country well? A great leader? A strong army? Or plenty of money? More than 350 years ago, two English scholars gave a different answer. Good government begins with accurate statistics. That was the idea of John Graunt and William Petty. Even before the 17th century, governments counted their populations. They used the data to collect taxes and recruit soldiers during wars. But statistics at the time did little more than count people. They had plenty of numbers, but they rarely analyzed what those numbers meant. The person who changed this way of thinking was John Graunt. In 1662, he carefully analyzed birth and death records that had been collected in London for decades. He found surprising patterns hidden in simple numbers. For example, some diseases appeared at similar rates every year, while others, such as the plague, suddenly claimed many lives. He also discovered that about 1 out of every 3 children died before reaching the age of 6. The numbers clearly showed how poor living conditions were at the time. Graunt went one step further. He created a table showing how many people out of every 100 births would survive to ages 10, 20, and 30. This was the world's first life table. Have you ever heard the term life expectancy at a hospital or in the news? The idea of calculating life expectancy also began with this kind of research. It was the first time anyone showed that human lifespans could be analyzed with numbers. Graunt also discovered another interesting fact. At the time, nearly the same number of boys and girls were born. He looked at social issues based on objective data like this. He tried to explain the world with numbers, not with intuition or guesses. William Petty, Graunt's friend, shared the same idea. He called Graunt's research political arithmetic. Why did he choose the name political arithmetic? Petty believed that good government should begin with numbers and facts, not emotions. He argued that manufacturing created more wealth than agriculture, and that commerce produced greater profits than manufacturing. This was a new idea at the time, but he reached this conclusion by analyzing real data rather than relying on vague guesses. Petty also stressed that statistics should not include personal opinions or emotions. Only objective data that anyone could verify should be used. At the time, Britain was becoming increasingly anxious that it might fall behind other countries. Politicians appealed to people's patriotism, but Petty took a different approach. He analyzed statistical data to examine the British economy objectively and predicted that Britain would become the center of world trade. Graunt's and Petty's research later spread across many countries in Europe. The astronomer Halley, famous for Halley's Comet, used life tables to calculate life insurance premiums. The mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz also argued that every nation needed a central statistical agency to survey its population and economy. This idea eventually led most countries to establish a national statistics office. Today, we see statistics such as the unemployment rate, inflation rate, birth rate, and average life expectancy in the news every day. But this raises one important question. Do statistics always tell the truth? Statistics are most powerful when they are based on data as it is. If someone changes numbers or shows only part of the data for personal gain, people make the wrong decisions. That is why good statistics help build a good society, while misleading statistics can create confusion. John Graunt and William Petty understood this more than 350 years ago. They said that to lead a country well, we must look at numbers as they are, not the numbers people want to hear. Today, we call data the oil of the 21st century. But no matter how much data we have, it has no value unless we analyze it honestly. Numbers do not lie, but the people who use numbers can lie. When reading statistics, do not simply trust the numbers. Ask one more question. How were these numbers created?